China's first Mars exploration mission Tianwen-1 will soon enter the orbit in the red planet. The unmanned probe has initiated a braking sequence to lower its speed upon approach. It is expected to be soon captured by the planet's gravitational pull and then enter orbit. Tianwen-1 has traveled for more than 200 days through space. It sent back its first image of Mars last week. After entry, the probe is expected to orbit the planet for 3 months before landing a rover onto its surface in May.
China's Mars exploration mission was established in 2016. 4 years later, in April 2020, it was given the name Tianwen-1. The name Tianwen means questions to heaven in English, and it was numbered 1 as it's the first of China's missions to other planets. Carried by a Long March 5 rocket, the Mars probe was launched on July 23, 2020. It includes an orbiter, a lander, and a rover. After more than 2 months of travel, the probe sent back its first deep space selfie with the Chinese flag on the National Day, October 1st. It also coincided with the Mid-Autumn Festival. Several tasks have been completed during the journey, including capturing an image of the Earth and the Moon, 4 orbital corrections, and a deep space maneuver. On February 5th, the probe captured its first image of the red planet after a journey of nearly 200 days. Tianwen-1 will spend 2 to 3 months orbiting and surveying potential sites for a landing in May. The rover will then explore the red planet for about 90 days. It will examine the Martian soil and surface material, as well as its atmosphere and climate. Cao Bing, CGTN.
For more on the Mars mission, I'm joined via Skype by Professor Yang Yuguang from China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation. He's also the Secretary of the International Astronautical Federation's Space Transportation Committee. Great to have you here, Mr. Yang. As always, we mentioned that before Tianwen-1 entered orbit, a brake was needed to slow down the probe. How difficult is this procedure? And also, some of our viewers are interested in why are we doing this, sending a mission to the Mars.
What you mentioned is the Mars orbit insertion. It is very dangerous operation because we only have one chance. This comes from the features of orbital dynamics. You see, when the Tianwen-1, a spacecraft approaching the Mars, because of the gravitational field, it will be accelerated and then it will be in a hyperbolic orbit. But when it approaching to the nearest point, if we don't have orbit maneuver, it will go again far from the Mars, and then it will go back into the orbit, circle around the sun. So after this, it will be maybe several years or even several decades later, it can meet again with Mars. So we only have one chance. And this orbit insertion must be very accurate, either the position, either the delta V itself, and also the time. We must be very accurate. And the more difficult part is because it is far from the Earth. The communication need more than 10 minutes. So we only can do this by the vehicle itself. So it must be operated in a highly autonomous manner.
Wow, it's a limited time offer there. Yesterday, we all know that the United Arab Emirates, UAE, launched its first mission, Hope probe. It reached Mars and entered orbit. And NASA's Perseverance rover is also expected to land on Mars very soon. How different is China's mission compared to those of the UAE and the United States?
Well, the hope of UAE is only an orbiter, but we combine the orbiter, lander, and the rover together. But it's still also different from the Perseverance rover because Perseverance rover will land on the Mars directly, but we go first into the orbit and then choose the right moment for the landing.
All right, Mr. Yang Yuguang, great to have you as always. Thank you for your insight.